does Yu-Gi-Oh have any actual skill in the game? And does it actually take skill to win in a game of Yu-Gi-Oh? Skill in Yu-Gi-Oh is something many players have discussed for years. One thing that keeps players from confirming this is the luck element. There have been times where players have managed to get wins either because they won the die roll and got to go first or second, whatever they choose, or because they were able to draw the card that they needed to win the game. Or even worse, it could be because you drew into a bad opening hand. I can tell you from my experience, these things have happened to me too, and they sometimes happen more than once. It sucks. I cannot deny the fact that luck does play a factor in Yu-Gi-Oh! And it's because of these moments that it's hard to determine whether there is actual skill in the game. But here's a question. What is a skill, and how does one determine whether something or someone is skillful? The definition of the word skill, according to the Oxford Dictionary, defines as the following. Quote, the ability to do something well, end quote. Sounds pretty vague, but it does match within what we see in Yu-Gi-Oh! You ever heard of these famous pro players by the names of Jeff Jones, Patrick Holben, Jesse Cotton, or even Pac Parmansa? I hope I pronounced that right. These are the names of some of the most well-known Yu-Gi-Oh! Players of all time. In fact, you talk to any well-known Yu-Gi-Oh! Players, they will instantly tell you how good these players are. Now you could say maybe these guys probably just got like super lucky at the game, but I would argue against that notion. In fact, when you look at the origin of the word skill, which is skill funny enough, you get a more defined definition. Quote, the ability coming from one's knowledge, practice, and aptitude, etc. to do something well, end quote. This definition fits perfectly with these players. They've put in a lot of time and effort into this game that they have now developed a skill for this game. We always say practice makes perfect, and this still holds true even in something like Yu-Gi-Oh! Again, we have players that have topped or won multiple Yu-Gi-Oh! Events back to back sometimes, and this is because they have studied and practiced a lot with Yu-Gi-Oh! If you're so convinced that luck plays a more factor in this game, then let's compare Yu-Gi-Oh! To the most luck-based game of all time, coin flipping. As you know, when you flip a coin, your opponent calls heads or tails and then you leave everything up to fate. With one of only two options to choose from, you and your opponent pretty much have the same chance of winning, which is 50-50. You can play this game 10 times, 100 times, heck even over 1 billion times, and your chance of winning are still going to be 50-50 no matter what. And that right there is what makes a game like Yu-Gi-Oh! So different from this. Being able to change the win rate. Changing your chances of winning is not only what makes a game fun, but it also determines whether a game is skillful or not. That's why when we look at sports players, they have to stay in shape and practice a whole lot because doing so gives them a better chance at winning games. In Yu-Gi-Oh! It's a similar concept. Sure, you have to practice, but you also need to study both the cards, the decks, and how they work, because doing so gives you a better chance of winning. Being able to change your win rate is what draws people into games like this. Be honest. How fun is it when you win at something and it was not because you just got super lucky, but because you were able to do something to make it happen? No one and no outside force made it happen but you. How much fun do you get knowing this when it happens? If you still believe there is no skill in Yu-Gi-Oh!, then let me be clear here. You are a coward. Sure, as I mentioned before, there are some luck elements in Yu-Gi-Oh! That may or may not determine the outcome of a duel, and that is never going to change. There is no denying that fact. But at the end of the day, how your duel plays out ultimately lies with you. And that's something not everyone is okay with. Sometimes it's easier to just say you were just very unfortunate this time around, or you would have won if this or that didn't happen. Sometimes that is the case, but to use it so frequently, that's when it becomes more of an excuse. If that sounds like you, then you're both lazy and a coward, but not without reason. In Yu-Gi-Oh!, you're like a commanding officer of some grand army, and everyone has to listen to you. And when everything goes bad, who do you think everyone is going to blame? The guy that's in charge. You. Now that's someone hardly anyone wants to be. especially if you knew you could have done things differently that could have avoided that horrible outcome. But let me tell you that that's where you want to be, because that is where you will learn to be self-disciplined. A good person is one who holds others accountable, but a great person is one who holds themselves accountable. And it's by holding yourself accountable that you learn to improve. To blame everything on luck is to avoid developing this inner strength. If this is not what you're looking for or want to do, then go somewhere else. Overall, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a skillful game. While luck does play a factor in this game, it does not negate the fact that we have had players that have both topped and won multiple tournaments and events, sometimes back to back even, and that's amazing. And that is because they put in the time and effort to practice and learn all they can to change their win rate and have a better chance at winning games. And that is what makes a person develop a skill for just about anything. If you ask me, Yu-Gi-Oh! Isn't 50% luck and 50% skill. It's more like 5% luck and 95% skill. If you still believe this game is all luck, then let me ask you this. Are you saying you do not believe in yourself to overcome the odds? Do you not have the confidence in yourself? If you said yes, then you should start working to change that, because you owe it to yourself. Thank you guys for watching this video, and if you enjoyed it, be sure to hit that like button to let me know, and comment down below, what do you think? Do you think Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a skill-for game, or do you think it's still more a luck-based game? And I'm still telling you, it's more skill. Luck be damned. And don't forget to subscribe so you can get more daily dose of Yu-Gi-Oh! Goodness from this channel. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next one, and I hope you have / had an awesome day today.